The stream is live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our liminal space here. And my name is Celina from Essence of the Moon. And today we have Laurie Irwin, also known as Craggy Brook Witchery. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I know we have a couple people already in the chat here in the live. So I'm just going to quickly stop in and say hi to everybody. So we have Marilyn's Tarot Take. Hello, thank you very much for being here. And we have my wonderful friend, Psycho Pump of the Void. She has her coffee ready and she's ready. Thank you for being here. We have SRAI Tarot. Hello, thank you. And saying hello, people, everybody. Positive Energy with Crystals. Hi, thank you so much for being here. Yes. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I really appreciate you guys. And this is definitely a newer, well, you're my second person I'm interviewing on here for Voices from the Liminal. So our first guest was Bridget, the Fabled Witch, and she's also a phenomenal person to interview and to get to know on here. I've only been on YouTube for 10 months. So it has been a whirlwind, but I decided to start to interview people because my two co-hosts, Bobby and Ramon, they also interview people, and I like to watch those types of interactions because it's different than what you're putting out on a daily basis on your channel. And I wanted to get to know people a little bit more on a more personal level, even though I feel with you, Laurie, with your channel, I feel like I definitely have gotten to know you and your practice and who you are because of you. Not only do you post regularly, but you have really good content, and I feel like I always learn from you while I'm watching your channel. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Because some of the practice that I'm involved in now, I was texting you today and saying that, especially with Santa Muerte, that she's the warmth and the drive behind me here. But when I connect with you on YouTube, there's the warmth and the encouragement from the other side.
I appreciate you so much, especially since you did mention Santa Muerte. I know she's on one of these questions down here on any type of deities, but I kind of feel the need to jump into her right now because she's getting, like, I'm feeling her excitement right now. So let's see if I can find the question on here. How do you work with the divine feminine or any other sacred masculine?
I saw that question there and I ran through it in my head, in that I can't say I gravitate to one or the other more. I think within me there is a balance, but there's always been a struggle, I guess, to bring more of the actually masculine in, because when I grew up, I just found that there were so many more opportunities for that masculine person. And I just felt, and I've always said, if I come back in the next life, I'm going to be a man. There just seem to be more opportunities. So in this lifetime, I'm hoping to tap into that strength and bring the balance in and find it, because I think that would give me the confidence that I strive for, that strength, that personal stamina.
Nice. I've also struggled with the balance of the masculine and the feminine, and I don't really have any masculine gods or deities or whomever that I don't really follow. It's always been feminine, but in my past lives, I have been a female witch. So I have not seen myself, following Odin or anyone else like that, even though he is on my altar. I don't say like I actually practice working with him. Hey, Sar. So yeah, it's to me, it's a very, I don't know, it's something I probably need a balance as well. But so you mentioned Santa Muerte. How did you connect with Santa Muerte?
I think I watched an awful lot of videos and I had an interest. I bought
Yeah.
a book. It took probably 2 years before I was ready to do that because there was a
Hmm.
sense of fear that I'm entering a territory that maybe I shouldn't. And that came up on a recent trip when I went to Halifax
Okay.
because I wanted to tap into magical stores and I was looking for gifts and things to connect to Santa Morte further with. And I mentioned it in one of the witchy stores, and he went absolutely quiet and he looked at the floor, and it was like I said something wrong. And I just
Please
said,
elaborate on that. What
well, I
was
said,
his reaction to
I
that?
don't see any tools or anything for working with Santa Morte, and I'm looking for some. We don't have that kind of thing in the store. And I said,
Oh,
why not? And he said, well, there's a certain community of that type of people worshiping that, and they don't appreciate it if we step into that. And I said, well, I'm talking to people on the internet that are Mexican, and it's very welcoming. And I was told that it's open to anyone.
that's
And
right.
I've only had anything but warmth in working with her. And so I let it
Yeah.
go. And the odd thing was when I went to a Halloween store, and this was just a week ago. And I've been in Halloween stores where there's tarot decks.
Hmm.
And so I went up to the lady who was walking by and I said, excuse me, do you have any of the props like tarot decks in the store? Well, you would have thought that I had just lit a fire in the store. And I'm like, she says,
No.
are you meaning tarot cards? And I said, yeah,
Yeah, they actually
cards.
sell one, and it's a really someone unboxed it recently. Oh, my friend Roman from Gold Monday XY, he unboxed a tarot deck that's fabulous, and it comes from Spirit Halloween.
Well, she shot a look to her co-worker about 20 feet away, and there was fear in her eyes. And it was, I looked at my husband, it's like, well, I guess we should leave. She had that make the
Wow.
bad witch go away.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry you dealt with that. But unfortunately, and it's so sad. It's 2025 and we're still dealing with stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's to me, I find the spiritual community to be a lot more accepting of these things. And you can, I mean, I can have a friend who does voodoo and I have no problem with them doing voodoo. I'm Mexican and I follow Santa Muerte, but at the same time, I know a lot of people that are not Mexican that follow Santa Muerte and are wonderful devotees. And if you've noticed, you look at Santa Muerte, there's no skin color on her.
Uh-uh.
It's all bone. We all have bones. She doesn't um she doesn't look at you by the color of your skin, the color of your eyes, where you were born. If you want to follow her and be a devotee of hers, she'll gladly open her bony arms to you and embrace you. Um, I've had many people ask me recently, is it okay if I, become a devotee? I'm interested in her. And I said, why are you asking me if it's okay? Of course it is. She doesn't care what color your skin is. She doesn't care what part of the country you were born in. You could be born in Australia and still want to follow Santa Muerte.
I thought for me it would have been more the Morrigan, but
Hmm.
that fell a little flat for me. And I tried for a long time. I
Yeah.
tried Estia, but she was a workhorse for me, that girl. She just had me spinning.
Do you think you could have been Hispanic in a past life? Have you done any past life
No,
work?
I think it's more, I have done past life
Okay.
work, but it was more the energy that was residing within me versus who I might have been or where I was. But I
Yeah.
must say that when I traveled to Ireland and Britain and I stood in one of the churches looking over the people, that
Hmm.
I felt I was home, mainly because when you grow up as a redhead, you feel isolated. There's not too
Yeah.
many out there. And
But
so
there's
when
a
I
lot of Mexican redheads too.
was
There's
there,
Mexican redheads in my family. Yeah.
oh, okay, because when I
Yeah.
stood there and I looked over the church at all the head colors, there's like
Hmm.
auburns and burgundies, and I'm home.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I was in Scotland about a year ago, so it's pretty close to Ireland, and I did see a lot of redheads in Scotland. But to me, even though I didn't look like I belonged there by my complexion and who I was, to me, it felt like home. And I've said this many times. I left here as Celina and I came back as Essence of the Moon because the what I went through in those 2 weeks in Scotland and in England was very um, eye-opening, liberating, enlightening. I mean, everything. I was literally floating through air for 2 weeks the whole time I was there. I felt at home. I felt like this is the path I'm supposed to be on.
And I
And then
don't
I
think
did, and then I did realize that I did have several past lives in Scotland and in England. So it all
yeah,
made sense why I felt so connected to that land.
I think I'd like to try the past life things again, but
Hmm.
I entered it through trial and error at a college in the area that was teaching it to other people. And I don't think they were prepared for some of the things that might turn up when you do a past life regression
Yes.
on someone.
Yes. Like somebody's death. I was able to witness my death in a past life, and that was tough. But you have to, I feel like your guides know when you're ready and not ready to see certain things or to experience certain things. So I think they'll protect you while you're on that past life path of yours. So we're gonna go back a little bit more
Sure.
and go back into our questions here because we're just chatting away, and I think it's fine. If we miss some of these questions, that's completely fine too. So how did your spiritual or magical path begin?
I think that it kicked off when I started to explore Reiki.
Oh,
For
nice.
me to be able to feel the energy,
Hmm.
and I still bring that nightly to myself for healing. I bring it in when I'm cleansing a tarot deck. Um, Reiki is a big part of my practice. I not only call that in, but I feel the comfort in bringing in the four elemental energies as well. But my practice really started to kick off when I decided to purchase a couple decks for myself. One of them was this one, the
Okay,
Fairy Ring Oracle.
nice.
And I think because it appealed to my Celtic background,
Hmm.
and I probably spent a year with that. And the other first one I got was the Sacred Circle. Now,
Nice.
I think I will go back to this now because I think it's more bringing in the Sabbats. Both of them have the nature background and the four seasons. But now that I want to learn a little bit more about the Sabbats and that, I think
Hmm.
I'll go back to that. And I kept trying to put those into the tarot slot. It doesn't work. They're oracles and they're completely different.
They
But
are. Mine are all separated. And there's books that separate them, so they're literally separated. They do have different energies to them, different they're used differently.
yeah, because this one does say tarot, but it never felt like a tarot. It felt more like an
Oh,
oracle. But that's
nice.
me. But so my practice started off that way and really dedicating time and energy to learning the craft. And especially once I got my hands on a tarot deck, it had a system
Yeah.
and that opened it up.
Yeah, I was a witch first before I started doing tarot. I didn't start doing tarot until like 7 years ago, maybe. Prior to that, I was doing witchcraft and learning about my abilities since I was a little girl. So that to me was always first. But if anybody asks, I'm a witch first. I'm a tarot reader second. Like
Okay.
I'm like tarot is still, there's times where I'm like, okay, I need to really think about what card it is that I'm pulling. Like some of them, like especially the court cards, always drive me nuts. And
Mm-hmm.
those to me are the most difficult ones to really figure out how to put them in a reading. But witchcraft, I have no problem, I can mix a potion, I can make stuff up, I can anything like that. I can tell you elemental stuff, but tarot, it's a little bit, I have to work at it.
Yeah, and I can sense some of the witchcraft come through when I play with my essential oils and things.
Hmm.
So it's interesting how we label ourselves because first as Reiki, okay, I'm a Reiki practitioner.
Yeah.
Then, okay, I'm a light worker or healer. Then you get into tarot. Okay, now
Hmm.
I'm a tarot reader, a divinator. It's
Yeah.
just, we keep changing our
Yeah.
titles.
Yeah, that's actually very true. We do change our titles pretty often. Um, yeah, but I think in my heart, for me, definitely a witch first.
Yeah, I will
So,
always bring herbs and oils to the
yeah.
table.
Oh, me. Well, you saw what I
Oh,
took to Gettysburg.
yeah. I
I
saw
took
what
like,
you took. You need a couple suitcases for what you took.
I know. And one of my friends from one of our groups, she actually challenged me to only one of those smaller bags, like put what
Oh,
I'm taking and put just whatever in there. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how the heck would I do something like that? Like there's no way that I can fit everything in a bag, but I'm gonna try. She challenged me, so I'm gonna try and do a travel altar and stick everything in one of those little like
yeah.
makeup bags.
It's a
So
challenge.
wish me luck
Yeah,
because you saw what I took. I took a
I
bunch.
did.
I took a bunch of stuff and I'm like, oh no, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. But I mean, I
We're
did it
back.
before. When I went to Scotland, I had like probably that size because you are so limited with size and weight. Even though I had first class, I still had a very limited size and weight that I wanted to bring back a bunch of stuff. So I don't want to have, my altar that was huge taking up half of my luggage.
And how did security checks go with all
Oh
those
my
herbs?
gosh. Let me tell you how that went. I was getting pulled over every single time.
I can
And
remember
my friend,
definitely.
and my friend who was with me, because it was a girls' trip, but we went with her church. So not only was it a girls' trip, we went with her church. So you have
Oh,
a practicing witch
oh,
going with Lutheran, you know, church. There was like 35 of us. And here I am covered in witchy tattoos.
yeah.
Um, it was interesting. It was very interesting because halfway through the trip, um, one of the luggages opened up and some of my tarot cards came out of it.
Even
So,
myself, when I was traveling doing art and going for art excursions, I had
yeah.
boxes of pastels. Well, some
Mhm.
of them are this long and that thick. They thought they were bullets.
Oh,
And security when they went through. I'm like, no, no, no,
nice.
they're pastels.
I love it. Coming back, I had picked up, I'm not joking, about 12 pounds of rocks is what I brought back. So I picked it up on the Isle of Iona, and it's where St. Columba was at. And there's beautiful crystals. Like, I mean, they're not just regular rocks, they were crystals like agate and mermaid's tear. I found several of those and a bunch of other beautiful like
Yeah.
marble type of rocks. So it was about 12 pounds. So I hiked that back from the beach in Isle of Iona all the way back to my bed and breakfast. And this was towards the beginning of the trip. So I was lugging around 12 pounds of rocks and sea glass. And I carried that on the plane. So it was my carry-on. And every single time I was pulled over,
Yeah.
I had all my like my little like stuff that's gonna break in that bag. And every single time I'm getting pulled over and pulled over. And because we had to go from Scotland to England to board there. So we were in Glasgow, and then from Glasgow we went to London, and so twice they had to go through my luggage, and they're like,
Yeah.
"What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just my rocks. I picked them up on the Isle of Iona, and some from Lyndon's Farm from the Holy Island in England." So it was quite interesting, but
Even all the vials of essential oils, that
mhm.
sort of gets them a little bit excited too.
It does. I had just a little box with some herbs in it, and it was my Santa Muerte container, and that was it. Like just a small little amount of herbs and stuff like that. But it's fine. It made it home. So, who or what has been a guiding force along your journey?
Well, the journey's always changing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
As we discussed today earlier in text back and forth, you're a guiding force for me for
Oh,
the
thank
herbs, the
you.
magic. I've got Hillary who helps me out with the crystals. I think
Hmm.
there's so much knowledge to be tapped into on the internet.
Oh,
But as
totally.
far as a guiding force, I think I do an awful lot of work at night. And I think in my dreams, I'm being given information and ideas. So when I
Me
wake up,
too.
yeah, and when I
Yeah,
wake
that
up in the
happens to
morning
me
and
all
I'm
the
exhausted,
time.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't
So,
sleep at night because half the time
yeah,
they're giving me like information and it's about making a new ritual oil. So I'm in my sleep and I'm like, what's my head, my brain won't shut off. So
yeah,
I'm pull out my phone and start putting notes in there. And then I'm like, well, is this the right time to make it? So then I'll look it up to see if it's the right time to make it. And every single time it is the right time to make it.
perfect.
So it's really like, and I'm just like, and when I look it up and I hear them laughing at me, of course it's the right time, Celina. Why do you think we're giving it to you now? So I have a lot of recipes in my notes on my phone. Some of them have been physically made already, but it's funny that they do the same thing to you too, because they do the same thing to me.
And I think subconsciously, like I'm not absorbing everything visually, although I do the lucid dreaming thing.
Hmm.
But I think subconsciously I wake up and that's where half of my ideas come from. They're not always
Me
great,
too. I
but
know.
I try.
I know. I think it's fabulous that we both get the same, the same messages, in our own little way, but it's this pretty much the same. I that's wild. I thought I was the only one losing it in the middle of the night.
And I'll explain my dreams in the morning to my husband, and he'll just sit there baffled. It's like, I can't even comprehend what that would mean.
Oh my goodness. So I do a lot of astral traveling and half of it is unintentionally. But my husband the other night said I was talking to somebody and somebody was responding. He
That's
says
pretty
it
cool.
he says it wasn't you responding, somebody else was responding. So I've yet to meditate on that message, but I automatically felt it was Santa Muerte.
I years ago was waking up, and you're in between dream and
Yes.
big
Yeah.
state. And I remember two women talking by my bed. And one woman said to the other woman, she can't hear us. And I opened my eyes and I looked around, there's nobody there. And I'm like, but I can hear you.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's phenomenal. Because I feel the same way. Oh my gosh, Laurie, I feel like we're just connected in so many ways. It's very strange, but I love it. Because it's
Good.
the same way. I feel the same way. And like I get these messages and I'm like thinking, who the heck are they talking to? But then they have to, I feel like they realize, oh, Celina can't hear us. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, I clearly just heard your
Yeah.
conversation.
So I
Oh,
wonder what
that's
they think on the other side when they say, oops, she
I
can't hear
know.
us.
Yeah. Or they probably
Oh,
pat themselves on the back like we did that on purpose so that we could really, get your clairs really moving and going. Like they've really, when I went to Gettysburg, I was exhausted for like 5 days afterwards because I felt so much and I heard and picked up on a lot of energy around me. And usually I put up my words and protections, but I didn't this time because I wanted to intentionally feel them for my spirit sessions that I wanted to have with them. So I did put them down. Um, I was exhausted,
yeah,
and I'm going back again on Wednesday
that's
for
pretty
like four
cool.
days.
I
So
really
yeah,
liked when you had the spirit board out there. Now, were you near
thank
a
you.
grave or were you just
I
under a tree?
on the battlefield.
On the
On the
battlefield.
battlefield, right behind me, what I was showing you guys, literally, I think about 7,000 men died there, right
That
behind
would
me.
be a very powerful spot to
It
be.
was we always sit there, my husband and I, it's very quiet in that spot. And we like to sit there for several hours and just kind of pick up the energy of the battlefield. And not a lot of cars go by through there, which is why we specifically always like to sit there. I was recording and we went into that battlefield part. Now, not everybody knows how to get into that part. Um, it took us like 5 years to realize and find a way to enter it. So we entered it. We've entered it before many times. This is our first time taking Darla. We get in there, we take Darla. She's not happy at all. I mean, she ran out of there. My husband took her off the leash. She ran out of there so quickly with her tail between her legs. My husband running after her to try and stop her. She's good with commands. We tell her to stop, she stops. She did not stop
Maybe
at
that's a
all.
clue, a signal.
I know.
Come on.
So she went She went in there and she went out. She knew exactly where the truck was at. She ran to the truck. I stayed and I was already within 5 minutes not feeling good. I'm like, okay, I'm recording. So I have all this footage for you guys that I still have to put together and make a video. And I'm recording and I'm not feeling good. I'm like, okay, the energy is off here. I have to leave because this is not feeling good. But there was about 7,000 men died there and about 60 some horses also died there.
So maybe Darla sensed some of the gunfire
I'm sure she
and
did.
chaos.
She would not get out of the truck after that. Not even
Now,
to go pee.
can you put a crystal on her dog collar?
She does. She has crystals on her collar. And it's Reiki infused crystals that was made for me, for her. So even that way, she was not having it.
Well, it's not like one spirit and we can try to calm and keep the
No,
area at
there was a
7,000.
lot. There's thousands and thousands of spirits on the battlefield. I mean, thousands that are roaming, some of them that I came across are unknown soldiers who don't have a memory of who they are. And that's who I was communicating with because I felt I had a past life as one of them. And as I was walking through the cemetery, the national cemetery, I was feeling this pain in my leg, like something had hit my leg. I was in excruciating pain. So I stopped and then I went to the next row and my pain went away like instantly. I'm like, okay, so let me back up again, just feel the pain again. And I'm like, okay, something's telling me to walk down this road. So I did. I got down to 809. I passed it. It went down to 808. My pain went away. I'm like, okay, went back to 809. My pain came back again. I felt excruciating headache and I was nauseous. So mind you, that morning I woke up tasting blood
Ew.
already. Yeah. I'm like, okay, this 809 is important to me. So that's
Yeah,
who I was communicating with on the battlefield.
I don't like bringing spirits home.
No,
They're hard to get rid of too.
they are. I bet. I bet. I bet there are. Okay, so what kind of magic do you find yourself working with the most these days?
Um, I do have a spell that I want to work with Santa Morte on
Mm-hmm.
for increasing prosperity. Let's put
Oh,
it that.
nice.
But I do enjoy my little tea spells that I do too, or just experimenting with the tea because it brings me
Mhm.
back to the herbs again. And
Yes.
there's something there. I know it's in my ancestry because my mother was a teacup reader, and my grandmother
Oh,
was too.
nice. Thank you.
So that's in there, but I don't know. The magic, it just comes daily. For me, it could be just putting a video together, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
the ritual for me of what cloth am I going to use? What oil am I going to use?
Mm-hmm.
I can't just seem to sit down with the deck and go, here, I'm going to show this. It's,
No.
it, it takes away the magic for me. And the
Mm-hmm.
magic is preparing the table and honoring the deck and seeing what it has to offer.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. So where does your creative inspiration come from? Because you do have a very creative outlook, especially with your channel and I mean down to the gloves that you wear.
Yeah, I think there's a child inside me that just loves to play. And
Okay.
I'm not one who follows rules. I can't even follow a recipe book. I mean, I'm
Me
always
either. I always
what's
edit it.
that? My husband walks by and says, "So is everything out of the kitchen now? You're just in that pot?" Yeah.
I
I
love
can't
that.
follow a recipe. So for me, I don't know. I can't explain it. The creativity probably started as an artist. That was my beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I think even the guides and guardians that I maybe work with in my dreams at night, they enjoy that playfulness and they bring it
Mm-hmm.
forward and subconsciously it comes out. But as I say, they're not all good ideas. But I play with it. And even when I was teaching art years ago for other people, I used to say, just play. You
Yeah.
know, amazing things can come happening to the page or whatever you're working on if you just play and if it feels good, you know?
I'm excited for when I can actually start playing like that because my life is so hectic and busy right now. It's so between working and school and YouTube. I don't have enough time to play. And it makes me sad that I have so many creative projects that I want to do artistically, like for myself, that I can't seem to finish up.
Well, I
But
do find if I can take a break from YouTube, I like to keep in contact and keep some of the videos going
mhm,
out. But if I take a break, I always find myself walking in the forest, even gathering leaves. I came
mhm.
in the other day and I had logs and I had moss and I had all kinds of things. And
I
because
love it.
I'm working on a project and it's inspired by the sisterhood.
Oh, I love that. That's
Sisterhood
from
of
Hay
Faith.
House, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
watercolor based. So it's taken me on another whole adventure, and I think it's leading itself into a deck. Probably tarot, it might be oracle, but right now I was looking at the paper the other day with all these things I started painting because it felt so good to play again. And I think that's probably where it will lead to a tarot deck. But right now I think it's the book cover jacket that I'm going to be completing.
Because you even cut down your cards
Yeah.
and you like make them into round circles or cut them down and they look wonderful. I would be afraid to do that, but then I see what you do and I'm like, oh my gosh, those look fabulous. I love the way she did that.
It was fun. And I took 4 decks I wasn't using and made one deck that I can actually travel with and use. It's then now it has a function. It was just sitting
Yeah.
there. Idle.
And now it's being used.
Yeah.
And you made it so the fact that you put your creative energy into it makes it a lot more magical, I think, in our own, and in my own eyes, I would feel the same way because I have my own little oracle deck that I made of my ancestors. And to me, that travels with me everywhere.
Now, are there anyone, can we ask the people in the comments, do they make their own tarot? Do they take a book, take it apart, and make their own tarot or oracle decks?
So I don't know if anybody does make their own decks, if you guys can put that in the comments below. So Heather up here by Brush, Bone and Indigo Ash, she's a very phenomenal painter. And she is, I'm hoping one day will finish or do her paint her deck. So she's painting the backs of them. But if you look at her paintings and different images will pop out at you, the way she paints them, different stuff would show. Like she has shown me her images and they're beautiful. I mean, I think that is very much an intuitive deck. And but that's what she's creating right now as well herself. So yeah.
Pretty
But I
neat.
don't know anybody else that's you see. I mean, even Bridget said cutting decks is scary. I'm definitely scared to do that.
But it was fun for me to go to thrift stores and grab books with images that I liked, and knowing that one day I'll probably make it into some sort of a deck for myself.
Yeah. See, Miss
And they're
Charity
not,
says she's too lazy for that. Yeah, but Heather she says, hopefully bring that project into being next year. Oh, I look forward to that, Heather, because your art's beautiful. And Bridget has made her own intuitive deck. She's using Bristol paper for it.
why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then yeah, Psychopomp of the Void. She just started doing she just finished up the full card. It's beautiful. She
And
posted that on her Instagram. Yeah. So she's coloring that and using graphite pencil and pens or color. So yeah.
why not?
Um why not? Yeah, I have as well colored pencils. Here we go. You have also painted cards too. I have, yeah. Like
And
I
water.
have, so I do a lot of the like the acrylic markers is what I use.
Yeah.
So, and I love using those and using like a black, I found black tarot decks on Amazon, plain black ones, and that's what I use my acrylic paints on, and that's what I make my own little oracle deck of my family. So all of my guides, I channel them, what they look like, I paint them. I've been wanting to do Santa Muerte and I'm a little bit more nervous of doing Santa Muerte, and I know it might be easier, but I feel like I'm overthinking it because I want to make her a card, but I also want to make her a box. So a travel box. So here's
Mhm.
a box that I painted into a with black matte chalk paint. So you can put
Nice.
sigils and stuff on it, but I want to make and paint a picture of her on the lid of the box and the inside part, and like maybe add her sigils in there. So that's something that I'm like, I've been afraid to do.
Put some music on
Yeah.
and go crazy. And if it doesn't work, you can sand it off.
True, true. That's very true. So this box has been sitting next to me for, I don't know, maybe a good 2 weeks now. And my markers are next to me. And whenever creative inspiration hits, then I'll go ahead and start painting it and see what I can come up with for Santa Muerte.
Well, how many times do we stop ourselves based on fear?
I do all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. Yeah. How many times have you?
Lots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like we overthink. Oh, there it is. As I'm just posting, we are overthinking it. That's right, Bridget. She's a phenomenal artist, Bridget. And we definitely overthink ourselves. And I think we overthink ourselves out of doing stuff way more than we do doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I look at all these amazing tarot decks and oracle decks, and what would have happened if they said, no, well, I'm not doing this, or I can't do this, like the Santa Muerte deck. I think that's a phenomenal deck with so much image and meaning into every single one of those cards. And I'm so thankful that they actually made it.
Similar to me working with Santa Muerte, if I had let fear stop me, I now
Mhm.
would have that warmth that I feel from her daily. Like for me to go down and sit in front of the altar or just walk by and say hello. And I have that
Yeah.
little cradle, and I gave her a whole bunch of chocolates, and I rocked the
Mhm.
cradle. I talked to her, but she's been nothing but warmth.
I love the cradle that you made for her. I love the doll that you made, and the belly that you gave her made her look like the Empress card. I watched that video so many times, and I'm like, why can't I be that creative? There it is. Yes. I was like, why can I not be that creative? I mean, she's beautiful.
Her little belly under there.
Yeah. I mean,
So
just beautiful. And it has herbs, right? The belly has herbs.
yeah, all herbs and oils in there. And then today I gave
Mhm.
her some mango and some vanilla herb.
Oh,
But it was interesting because I said, I'd like some extra confidence today, Santa Muerte. Can you come to my upstairs room and be with me? And she was reluctant. I used my pendulum. She's like, if I have to, okay.
oh, I'm happy she did. I'm happy she did. And I feel like she connected us into seeing each other on YouTube. And because I really adore your work, I'm so thankful to have met you on the World Wide Web. And then especially how you do your practice. You have such beautiful intentions, I feel, when I'm watching you every single day. And I'm like, wow, I hope I can become like you when I'm older.
Well, I'm looking at you going, how do you do all that you do in a day? I don't get
I
that.
don't. It's so hard. It
But I
really
wish
is.
you could play. I wish you could take some time and play.
I'm going to try to when I'm in Gettysburg. I did take time off. So um the last time I was, when I was there last week, I felt like it was just go, go, go. I don't know why I felt it was just very different energy. I'm hoping this time will not be as go, 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 and I'll feel more likely to play.
Good.
So yeah, definitely. Okay. What kind of magic do you find yourself working with the most these days?
That was the Santa Muerte stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it all starts with even just building a garden and planting the herbs and putting that energy into the herbs and then drying them at the end of the season. That seems magical. And, you
Mm-hmm.
label them, you bottle them. And then I have so many magic books I want to get out and actually do some more spell working. Like one of your
Yes.
questions up there was, I think it was the second one about magic and how it all came together. That first spell, like, do you remember your first spell that you did?
No, I don't.
No?
No, for me, it probably was a prosperity spell.
Okay, because I can remember, and I was probably just a year into tarot, and I've always practiced on my dining room table back then. Now I have different altars, but
Mm-hmm.
I had the dates down, the planetary stuff, the times, everything else. And it was a spell to have clarity. And, I could sense the Reiki, but I wanted to see the magic. So the whole thing was about that. And, I circled the table the number of times you're supposed to, and I said all the incantations. And when I finished, it was, okay, I'm tired. I'll take a break. I'll go outside. And when I went outside to the garden, the flowers were actually magnified and glowing.
Oh, I love that.
So it was like, I couldn't understand what was happening. Why were all the flowers had this golden aura around it, and they seemed so magnified? And then it started to clue in. You asked to be able to see and to see more clearly.
I love that.
So it lasted for about 10, 15 minutes, and I've never got that back again.
For me, it had to have been a money bowl. Like that was probably the first thing that really intrigued me. And now I do them on a regular basis. I add to them on a regular basis. And then every year on New Year's, I have a new money bowl.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I have a perpetual money bowl going, and I always add to it regularly by adding different things to it, more coins, more crystals, different oils, different intentions. I'll do more work with it. And then at the end of the year, I deconstruct it and then reconstruct it all over again on the new year.
So do you have a deity that you work with for that?
Mm-mm.
No?
Nope. I think it's just my intention, what I'm putting out into the universe. My higher self is helping me with that. But that was before Santa Muerte. So I'm fairly new to working with Santa Muerte in this life. She's definitely been there in past lives. Like I recently got a necklace that was gifted to me, and it's very much Aztec type of necklace. And the moment I received it and put it on, I instantly heard her say, like she wanted that necklace. So she sits on my 2-foot tall Santa Muerte statue. But when I put it on and I heard her, first of all, say she loved it and she wanted it. But then I also heard her mention a past life, that her and this is not our first life together. And that happened. I told Ramon about it. And a couple nights later, Santa Muerte came to him in a dream at 3 o'clock in the morning and gave him a whole past life of me and her back in the 1600s, like detailed past life. So I'm going to be mentioning that. I'm doing a video for her on November 1st, talking about the book that he gifted me, that is now the author is a really good friend of mine, and reviewing the book, and then my journey to Santa Muerte.
Now, I know you're new with working with her, but when did you start to hear her?
Oh, I was young, like 8 years old, but it was out of fear. It was out of fear, like fear-based. Like my mom, I would see her in the market with my mom, and my mom would be like, don't, because to me, she looked like, the Virgin Mary. I was raised Catholic. So you look at the Santa Muerte, and I'm like, oh, she looks a little bit different than the Virgin Mary. And my mom's like, oh, don't look at her. Keep walking, keep walking. So it was a fear-based. And that's what I hesitated for so long to work with her, until Santa Muerte put Ramon in my life, put Cressida in my life, who's the author of the book. And her and I talk almost on a daily basis.
I have to get that book. I haven't got that one yet.
The Secrets of Santa Muerte, phenomenal book. That's the book I'm going to be reviewing. So I 100% recommend that book for everything you need on Santa Muerte. And Cressida is not Hispanic.
Okay. Now
she's
the
British.
The 3 statues you took away with, which one worked best?
I'm sorry?
You took 3 statues of Santa Muerte away with you.
Oh, the colored, the siete potencias, 7 potentials.
It worked.
But I had the white one, the 7 potentials, and then the wooden one. So I had all 3, but I would pull all 3 out with her crystals. Yeah.
At once.
Ooh. Yep. So I would look at all 3 of them and do my rituals that I did for her, for myself, for my birthday. Like I put all of them out together. And I had all 3 of them with beeswax candle only, because I find she loves beeswax.
Okay.
At least in my past life, I was burning beeswax for her. So yeah, I know. I love it. I love it. Okay. And here, do you work with any other spirit guides or ancestors or deities aside from Santa Muerte?
I think I have a team, but they've never
Hmm.
presented their names to me. And
Okay.
again, it's through the dream work.
Hmm.
I would love to be able to say it's so and so and that, but I can't just yet. It's just energy and a team that I think works with me, that guides me.
Nice. Very nice. Have you ever faced a dark night of the soul in your path, and how did you move through it?
I think that came up about a week ago for me.
Really? Is that the
Remember when
crossroads?
I was at the crossroads? Yeah. And it
Because
was a
you were a
dark,
little quiet that time.
yeah.
So I knew you were going through stuff.
Yeah. And I've been hearing it for over 6 months. You've got to step back. You've got to step back. But
Hmm.
I miss, because I'm a lone witch, basically, I miss that connection. But I realize that it's taking a lot of my playtime and my energy, and it's balancing it.
Okay, good.
So
Good.
it's finding it. I am working through it, and I
Yeah.
am paying attention to what they're saying, and I see that it is actually best for me to step back a bit, because how else can I wander in the forest and collect things and paint and draw and do my thing, which gives me
Yeah.
peace.
Yes. I love that. That's beautiful. Perfectly said, because I've had those moments too where I've had to step back. And I have a wonderful team around me, not only my guides and ancestors and deities, but I also have a wonderful community that will remind me, Miss Tarot D, who was already yelling at me today in a nice way. But, you know, um, she's like, self-love, Celina, self-love. You need to learn to take care of yourself and pull back a little bit. So
Yeah, because
it's hard.
even my husband, he's my greatest sense of power and strength too.
Hmm.
He's saying, you're missing out. It's a beautiful day outside. What are you doing? If
Yeah.
you're not painting, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because by the time you get the idea for the video and you put it together, you put it out there, and you're watching to see what other people are commenting on, and you want to watch everyone else's videos. That's a lot of time. I think Simon at the Hermit's Cave puts in 10 hours a day just watching other people's videos. And
So my husband, he gets home, he starts calling me from work at 1:30 when he gets off of work. So once he calls me, I'm on the phone with him until he gets home, like about 35 minutes afterwards. And then he goes to bed at 7. So between 1 to 7, I'm not watching anybody's channel. I used to, but that was taking away time from my husband.
mhm.
And now I don't anymore. So whatever happens in that time frame, if it's alive and I miss it, I'm so sorry. I can't. I I need to put in that energy to the person that's sitting next to me as well. So I'm trying to give myself grace for not seeing everybody's channel right away, commenting right away, or responding right away. Sometimes I can't respond to my comments until the next day. So I'm trying to give myself grace, and I'm learning that. And I feel like Santa Muerte has been reminding me to do that.
Yeah, I think we almost have to schedule a certain time. Okay, I'll sit down and answer emails and texts now, but the
Hmm.
rest is my time to
Yeah.
do what
But
I
yeah,
need
so
to
from
do.
like 1:30 to 7, I don't do anything on YouTube
And that's not even
because
taking in household work and all the other
I
commitments.
know, yeah, that's not even taking in all that. So, if my house goes several days without being cleaned, it's gonna go several days without being cleaned, and my husband doesn't get mad about it. So he doesn't say anything. He
Mhm.
knows I'm busy. He knows I'm doing a lot and I'm working and I have college. So my plate is already full, and balancing that's hard.
And then the ancestors keep us busy all night long.
I know at night. So that's right. I mean, sometimes I don't get to sleep I get maybe 3 hours of sleep, and my husband's like, Celina, you need to slow down. And then that's when they start, even Lila, Tapestry of the Unseen. You have to take time out for you and your husband. I do. And she also reminds me, she'll message me and she's like, are you doing okay? How are you doing? She'll text me, and yeah,
And time for you too.
time for me.
Yeah, to clear.
Yeah. But I have a lot of responsibilities I'm very lucky and fortunate and there's so much abundance around me being sent to me. I have a lot of tarot decks and oracle decks that need to get reviewed that are sent to me for free. So that's why I'm putting out videos every day, because I was sent about 30 some decks in 3 weeks.
That's a big commitment.
It's huge. And recording and editing and posting, and it's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thankful. I don't want to cut off that abundance, but at the same time, it takes away from doing what I want to do on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
So balancing part is a tough part. Okay, so what role does shadow work or inner healing play in your spiritual life?
Yeah, shadow work. I know we're supposed to do that, right?
Yeah.
I live with a person who's very upbeat, and together we're happy people. But looking into the shadow work can sometimes be sadness. And it came up, if you watch these Halloween movies every year like I do you ever watch the what was it? The Order with the Carnelian priests?
No.
Okay, so he's in this library that's full of all this magical text and everything else, but there's a guardian of the library, and he's talking to the priest, and it's similar to looking at your shadow work to me, in that his comment was, if you stare into the deep abyss long enough, sometimes you'll find the abyss stares back at you. And that was freaky to me. Sometimes we peer so deeply within, but are we ready to see when we really get reflected back to us what it is we're supposed to really be working on? I don't know. The shadow work is something that's a little bit difficult for me to peer.
So one of my tarot decks that I just reviewed recently, it's called the Green Codex Tarot, and the devil card has a mirror on it. It's the only card that has like a mirror to it, and when you look at it, it distorts your image, and it's very much a shadow card. Like, you're looking at it, and I definitely see that as, I never saw that as shadow work needing to be done looking at the devil card. But when I looked at that card, it made complete sense, and why that card is the only one that has a mirror on it. But it's a distorted mirror. So you look at yourself, it's almost like a playhouse mirror, like one from a fun house, how it distorts your image. And that's what that looked like. And to me, I was like, I saw that and my mouth just opened and I was like floored. And I stared at it for a while, like soaking in what it was trying to tell me.
Yeah, I think it takes a very strong person to be able to really dive deep into those shadows.
Yeah.
There's so much that we've tried to avoid looking at, remembering, and we do make our mistakes, and we hope to learn from those mistakes, I guess. But
yeah,
staring into the abyss sometimes can be a little bit dangerous.
it is. And it can be, yeah. So how do you stay grounded when life gets overwhelming and chaotic? And I know you mentioned going into the forest or painting. Is there anything else that you do that helps ground you when life is getting too much for you? I
do an awful lot of walking, and it doesn't have to be in the forest. It can be just in the garden. That's a meditative walk, I think. And then I can bring in the Reiki, especially, like yourself at night when you're all wound up and you can't you can't calm down. For me, I can sometimes fall asleep with the Reiki. So if I didn't have that, I think I wouldn't be as sound as I am, if that makes sense.
Yes.
It does ground me.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. What do you wish more witches or spiritual seekers understood about this path?
Well, for me, in looking back, I wish I had someone else to lean on a little bit. It's like learning tarot. If you had someone at the first to help you through some of the initial stages. So I guess I would be thinking more along that line, to have the support system there at the first. It's fine and dandy to go solo after, but I think at the first, the camaraderie. Does that make sense? Does that answer?
Me too. It does very much because I'm the same way. I've always been solitary, but I'm also the first one in my family in this generation to come out as a witch. Like I'm the first one to say loud and proud to my mom, to my sisters, to my brothers, this is who I am. I'm loud and proud as a witch. And I
Yeah.
thought they were going to see me differently or not understand me or completely disown me. None of them did. And they understood. They're like, oh, that makes sense, is what they would say. And I'm like, what do you
Mhm.
mean? They're like, you were always talking to stuff that wasn't there. You were always asking if we saw things and we never did. They're like, it makes sense. And I'm like, oh, so they saw who I was probably before I saw who I was.
Whereas I think I hid that part of myself and
Hmm.
still do from certain family members.
Hmm.
Because my brother would say, "Oh, you're doing the woo-woo stuff." Yeah, my mother was the greatest supporter, actually. But when
Hmm.
I talked to her more about some of the witchier stuff that I was doing, she said, they used to burn people like you. And we would laugh about it together, but she was
I
honest.
know. I know. And to me, it felt great when I was actually doing a reading for my mom and I pulled out this specific deck. It's a Spanish deck. And I pulled that out and she looked at me and she's like, she gave me this weird look and I'm like, what's wrong, Mom? She goes, I swear I'm looking at my grandmother, but you're in front of me, but I'm seeing her. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, those were the same cards she used in the early 1900s when she was reading tarot. And I'm like, wait a minute, you never told me your grandmother read tarot. She goes, I completely forgot until just now looking at you. I literally saw her.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm still searching in my closet for another witch. I'm like, I can't possibly be the only witch in my family. Oh,
No, I'm sure you're not. I'm sure you're not. But to me, once she said that to me, and the way she looked at me differently after that, but in a good way, like she was looking at her grandmother, to me was, okay, I'm not the only one. It was just and that's when I realized, okay, I'm definitely a generational witch, even though I knew I was, but that like confirmed it when my mom said, she was she did witchcraft, she did herbs, she did tarot, her own little way of tarot, her divination. She's like, my grandmother could predict absolutely everything that was happening.
so where's her grimoire?
They didn't have grimoires in Mexico.
Dang.
No. So when I do past life work, I now bring her forward and I ask for her assistance. And she's always glad to help me. It's almost like she's proud to have a granddaughter or great granddaughter that's um, asking for her assistance. Because that's how grandmothers are, they get happy when their grandkids ask for help.
Yeah, that's super,
So I
Celina.
feel her energy and I really reach out to her specifically because I know she knows about these things. But it really felt great when my mom confirmed it. And she's looking at me and she's like, I'm looking at you, but I'm looking at my grandmother. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, I literally see her right here. She's shuffling cards, but it's you shuffling cards. She goes, I don't know how else to explain it.
Maybe I just got mixed up at the hospital. My real parents are somewhere else.
I know. No, I think they're probably there. My mom doesn't do anything at all. Like, I think she's just afraid of it.
I know that my grandfather on my mother's side had psychic abilities and healing
Hmm.
powers and things like that. So it
Yeah.
probably comes from his Irish side of the family.
Yeah. And then my grandmother, my mom's mom, was like a phenomenal, like she was like a folk witch, like you know, that grandmother that knew everything on how to mend everything, fix everything, would make you dinner food and it'll heal you. Like she'll massage your body and it fixed you. Like she did all of that. And to me, I thought, oh, she's just a phenomenal grandmother. But now that I'm older and I'm into this craft, and I'm like, she was definitely a witch.
Now, don't you think we get life wrong? Because now that we could actually spend time with our elders, our
I
ancestors,
know, and we
gain
can't.
that information from them, they're not here.
No, they're not.
Something
So
about life wrong.
I know. And I'm like, why? Because I mean, they lived in Mexico. I lived here in the States. You know, I was born here. I didn't have my grandmother around as often as I'd like until, you know, we'd have to go to Mexico and visit her. And the times that I went down there, last time I saw her, I was 15 years old, but I was already picking up on things and seeing things, and my abilities were really strong at that time. And it all made sense. So now when she's around, like I know she's always around because she's making ruckus in the other room. And that's how she was in the living. That's where I knew where she was at because I could hear her. I knew what room she was in because of the ruckus she was making, pulling out pots and pans or opening up cupboards to fix the bed and change the sheets out. Like that's how I know where she was at because of the noise she made. So that's the same thing now. And even after her passing, she's been gone for 12 years. Um, I know where she's at because of the noise she makes. So
Pretty
she's still the
cool.
same person in the afterlife. But yeah, and I can smell her roses. She had a huge rose garden. She loved roses. So I know she's around because I smell roses. But yeah, she was definitely a witch. She just didn't, they didn't call themselves that, you know? They called themselves, she was just a grandmother. She would just say, I'm just your abuelita.
But even that sounds
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, it does. It does.
I
She
can
was like,
listen to you.
I'm
I
just
love
your
your language.
abuelita. So, um, yeah, it's beautiful though. It's beautiful. Okay, so how do you handle skeptics or misconceptions about your work? And I think we briefly
Um,
touched on that with your brother.
yeah, and I still find it in the community I'm in. I seem to be in a churchy community all the time. And I don't know how I end up in these churchy communities, but I do. And, you know, it's one of the things you don't talk about that much. I mean, we were just at the community breakfast with a bunch of 80-year-olds.
Hmm.
And one of
I
the
love
couple,
that.
they're my best friends, these 80-year-olds.
I know.
So I don't know. I was sitting there. Another girl came over to the table, and the one that we went with, my friend says, "You don't want to sit there. She's a witch." And the other girl's like, "Oh, that's okay. I'll sit with the witch." So it's there. They know what I do. I mean, she
Hmm.
watches some of my channel and she's been to
Nice.
the house, and I don't share a whole lot, but she knows that I have that other side.
Yeah.
And I just don't talk about it to a lot of people, especially around here. I just keep
Yeah.
it to myself, change the conversation. It's not worth it.
Hmm.
I mean, it takes me back to when you would go to an event and then I was labeling myself as an artist. Well, you know, you're sitting at a table of a bunch of people and they would say, "What do you do for a living?" And I'd say, "I'm an artist." They'd literally
Hmm.
turn their head and start a conversation over here. I never seem to get it right as to what I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So what does personal power mean to you?
Again, I guess being confident in who you are, and what you want to achieve. That's my personal power. If I can tap into that and feel strong, and as you say, if you want to call yourself a witch, call yourself a witch.
Hmm.
That's your personal power, your strength. Be what you want to be.
Exactly. Exactly. So how do you protect your energy when sharing online or with clients?
With clients, I would surround myself with the Reiki energy. Online,
Hmm.
I'm not so good at that, but I know someone called Celina who has this wonderful prayer on her page
I
that
do.
I read often.
I do. I have that because I was feeling the heavy energy
Yeah,
from, and I'm not always going to say people intentionally put out bad energy towards you. There's people can unintentionally do the same thing.
you can
Like
see
they
it.
don't mean, yeah, they don't mean to do that, but some people just have the look and, they just have that way of they can look at something and put that energy out there.
Yeah,
I was
I like
feeling
your
it.
idea of your sprays to protect the room. I walked around with some today. Hmm.
Yep. So this
Right.
is Miss Tarot D's.
Yeah.
She's a phenomenal. I love her sprays. I'm running very low on it, so I like lightly spray myself. But I also have crystals that sit next to me.
Yeah, I brought
So
some.
selenite. I wear crystals on my wrist. I have my Santa Muerte necklace on. She goes to bed with me. I wear her all the time except for when I shower, I take her off. Um, but I have everything next to me to help. And this is where I work. So this is my spot where I work. This is also my spot where I'm doing my lives or sometimes like that. But I have all my sprays and my intentions and my incense all sit next to me. I'm surrounded by like 20 decks on a normal day. So I'll pull them out and I'll start pulling cards while I'm in the middle of looking at somebody's profile at work and just to get my mind cleared of what's going on and just have a moment for myself. So,
Mhm. Well, for today, I did do the bell, I did the gong, I didn't do the
hmm
incense,
yep.
but I did put essential oils around the room. And
hmm
I often, though, will call on the elemental energies, the four. They
Oh,
they never. Hmm? A new batch in the
Miss
work.
Tarot D, yeah. Laurie is in Canada, Miss Tarot D.
I'm a long way.
I know it's a long way, and then there's all of that shipping that happens when shipping to Canada. It's horrible right now.
Yeah, we haven't
Because I
had.
have some clients in Canada and my friend Cressida lives in Canada. So when I send her stuff, it's probably like $50 in shipping.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous, eh? But
Yeah.
we can't even get postal service right now. It's been about a year and a half. We don't really have postal service.
Yeah.
They've been on strike.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me to ship to Canada, Miss Tarot D, because of I put up like the stuff I'm putting in there, it's about $50 for me. So yeah.
But sending a note of what recipe to use is good and
So
cheap.
yes, so Miss Tarot D has videos on her YouTube
Okay.
where she does have how to make step by step these wonderful ingredients from her black salt to her smudge spray to her Florida water. She puts videos on how to make everything. And it's like you're in her kitchen with her and she brings out all of her Italian, because she's from Italy. So she brings out all her Italian wicker baskets and everything else. And she's bringing in, it's like she's bringing in her family and they're all making this wonderful sprays together. But she has all those ingredients step by step on her channel.
Well, I'll be tuning in for
Yes.
sure. Now,
Yes.
did you write that
I did.
wording? That's your
hmm
own writing?
That is, yes.
Fabulous.
Yes. So it's a transmutation spell with Santa Muerte. I do a lot of transmutation work. So instead of sending back, say somebody sends you bad energy, instead of sending it back to them, I will pull that energy in, I'll harness it, and I'll transmute it into positive energy.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's what I do. I feel like that's where all the abundance is coming from.
It
When
seems
people
more
send you,
powerful.
when people send you bad intentions, I'll transmute it and it'll work into my favor and I'll get free stuff. Or I'll get companies who email me and say, "Hey, are you interested in doing reviews for us?" Why, yes, yes, I am.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Carol D, I will be looking at her site.
Yes, definitely. She has wonderful content on there. I'll be interviewing her next week. So, and she'll be on November 1st. So we'll be at the battlefield together, but I'll be interviewing Miss Tara D. Yeah. Okay. What's your relationship to intuition and how do you strengthen it?
I've always relied on intuition. To me, it's 100%.
hmm
If it feels right, I'll go with it.
Yeah, gut instinct.
Even if it's dealing with certain people, my intuition will tell me yes or no. And it's rarely wrong. So intuition for me is a big part. And even when I read the cards, there might be a certain meaning in the book, but for me, it's what the image is saying to me, that little message I'm getting in
hmm
my head. It's that intuition brings the reading together. Even when I bring it into my art, it's intuition. How does it feel? Does that feel right?
Yeah. So yesterday I was doing, when we were doing the live readings, and I pulled a card for a good friend. His name is Draven. And one of the oracle cards was about healing and self-care. So to me, it had two messages on there, but the one message, as I continued to look at the card, I started to have a hard time breathing. So I was getting like heavy breathing, my chest was hurting, and I was like, okay, do you have any health issues that are having to do with your breathing? And they said yes. And I'm like, okay, please pay extra close attention to that because I'm getting the heaviness here where I'm having a hard time breathing. And I feel like that's a message for you on healing and self-care,
Mhm.
where you're getting my guides are telling me to tell you that please take care of yourself, especially with this aspect of your health. So that was my intuition. It had nothing to do with the card, but it was also using your intuition because a message had to be put out there that my guides made me feel what that person is feeling
Mhm.
to be able to relay a message.
Yeah, and you got to go with that. I
Hmm.
mean, if you hold back your intuition sometimes later on, you realize that could have helped them if you had said that.
Yeah. Or my mom, and now I'm going to put out there it's my mom, but I've said this before, the story before, where um she was in Mexico last year because she goes every year for several months at a time and visits family. And she called me. She's like, "Hey, can you do tarot reading on me?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I'm doing a reading for her, and I'm normally, if I would have read the cards how they came out, it would have made zero sense to my mom. Like nothing would have made sense. It would have been just a basic reading. I used my intuition. Something told me not to go by what the cards say, go by what my intuition's saying. So I pulled out a card and I used the biblical tarot. And the one um, court card had a man and a woman and they were talking. So my dad passed away in 92. My mom's by herself. So I was like, "Are you talking to somebody?" And she just giggles. I'm like, "Okay." So I'm pulling in more cards and I'm like, I pull out an oracle card and it was an angel on there. And I'm like, "What's with this angel? Is there something to do with an angel, Mom?" "Oh, that's his name."
Oh, how cool.
So it was about a new relationship, but I didn't read the cards how they're supposed to be read. Like, not any of it was read. It was all by images, intuition, reading the images itself and what was coming to me. And hey, Bill, and it made more sense to her that way than if I were just to read it like it normally was meant to be read. So there is a time when you do read the cards how they're supposed to be read, but I think using your intuition really does make a big difference when you're reading cards for somebody and not ignoring those messages you're getting. Like to me, I'm reading it and I'm like, "No, this is crazy. There's no way my mom's talking to somebody. She doesn't talk to anybody." But I was like, "Are you talking to someone?" And then what's with this name? What's with this angel? "Oh, that's his name." And I'm like, "Oh my God, Mom." So I think once I did that reading for her, I think she realized, oh, Celina's the real deal when it comes to reading tarot.
The
Because
only
I was,
time I find it difficult in reading the cards intuitively is if you're reading for someone else and they strictly go by the book and they are tarot readers themselves. There's like, well, how are you coming up with that? And then you get that challenging attitude between, or like,
yeah,
I know the cards and the cards don't say that. Well, I mean, I read for one girl in a store once that way, and it was one of those walk around, pull a card, and I'll read for you.
yeah,
And it came up about her daughter, and her daughter's coming for a visit. And she says, "Yeah, my daughter's coming for a visit." I said, "Well, it's not going to go well. I can't say how, but it's just, there's something wrong. It's not going to go well, and you're not going to have a great time." Well, she walked out of the store absolutely miserable, mad at me. And she came back 2 weeks later and says, "You were absolutely right. It didn't go well." But you got to use your intuition. I could have
yeah.
said all these nice things. "Oh, I'm so glad your daughter's coming to town." But
But no,
and they don't want to hear it sometimes.
no, no. I've had that several times with different readers. And um, I usually meditate before when I'm doing a reading for somebody. And if I start seeing images in my head, I'm like, "Oh man, I already have an idea how this reading is going to go," because I'm already getting glimpses, like visions of what this person has gone through, like the death of a baby, the illness of their father, who has cancer and late stage. Like I was seeing all of this stuff and I'm like, oh, this is going to be such a hard reading. And it took me days to recover, like because it was so heavy. It was a lot of death, health issues, pain, agony, very difficult. So how do you protect yourself when stuff like that happens to you?
Again, with the Reiki, with the energy,
Mhm.
with positive attitude. But I have had some difficult readings where I'm into it for about 3 cards, and I know it's not what they want to hear, but it's the right message.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to, shield myself from that attack of their eyes saying, this is wrong, this is wrong. And I actually said to one girl partway through a reading, well, this is what the cards want to talk about and your guides want to talk about. And you
Mhm.
came for a reading. And she'd say, yeah, but I don't talk about that with anybody. Okay, but
But you came for a
you
reading and
came
you
for a
opened up
reading.
yourself to be read
So
by
we
sitting
ended
in
up
that
finishing
chair.
the reading, and it was
Yeah.
all about one of her relatives, and that relative passed within the next day. But we at least had that time together to
Yeah.
share what that relative, although they couldn't see each other, wanted to tell her. And I'm like, wow, tarot is fascinating sometimes.
It is. It
And the
is.
intuition
Yeah.
and being
So
able
what,
to work through it.
yeah, definitely. So what wisdom would you share with someone just beginning their path?
Um, Wisdom. Again, I would probably say if you can find someone that you can trust
Mhm.
and share your interests and get a little bit of guidance and give you that confidence then to go and do what you need to do. But you have to experience, I think, things for yourself and not be swayed but by someone else. It's like Santa Marte. So many people would have said, don't do that. But I had to
Yeah.
try it. I had to
Yeah.
experience it. So I guess I would tell them, go out there, watch all these videos, listen to other
Hmm.
people, see what clicks for you, and try it.
I was going to say that. Watch the videos. And to me, it comes with not when I'm doing spell work and someone else did it, I always change everything up. I leave some of it the same, but I make it my own. I'll change some of the recipe. I'll change some of the ingredients to make it my own, to make it my own magic. So I use other people's ideas, but I'll change them up so that they are specific, like all mine.
I think
And
that's
I
perfect.
and I think people need to, I feel like there's so many books on how to's, but no one really tells you make it your own. Because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, if you don't do it this way, you're doing it the wrong way. That
And just
gatekeeping.
because, yeah, if it's in a book and it says this is good for this remedy, maybe
Hmm.
not for you.
No. Or maybe that herb doesn't resonate with you,
Mm-mm.
or maybe there's a different herb will resonate more for you than the one that they were using. Like
Or
I
it's
did a
like,
healing
yeah,
spell on my Darla after she had surgery, and I was Madame Pamita's book, and I got a lot of the inspiration from that one specific healing spell. But the three herbs she mentioned, I didn't have, surprisingly. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be making my own concoction here. So I looked at all my herbs, pulled out all my healing herbs that are would help Darla. I pulled out like 6 of them and I'm like, okay, I'm going to start grabbing 3 of these and see which one of these will go well together. And I grabbed them all that I thought would go well. And then I looked them up and they all made perfect sense. I'm like, perfect. And within an hour after doing that healing spell, and I did candle magic and I did knot magic and almost like a Reiki on her. And then I did a limpia on her, like almost like an egg cleanse, but it was with the herbs in the pouch. And I cleansed her whole body with the herbs. Within an hour, she was on her back asking me to rub her belly. And she was by my feet and was like caressing my feet. So it
so
worked.
intention
Hmm.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Substitution, I believe in. Use what you have on hand and put that
Yeah.
intention into it,
Yeah.
and it works.
Yeah. It totally does. Okay. So we're down to our last 3 questions.
Did we actually follow the route? No, I don't think
Not
so.
all the way. Some of them were skipped because some of them were mixed in together and we had already discussed some of them. So now we're down to the last 3, which is closing and offerings. So, what's something you're currently creating or offering that you'd like to share?
I've got an idea, and I don't know whether it's going to fly or not, but I've got an idea, and I wrote it down here. It's called 7 Days and 7 Ways to Better Deck Love.
Oh, please explain.
I think I'm going to have to come up with ideas on how to approach your decks differently, love your decks differently. What are you getting back? You know, that sort of almost like a
Oh,
romance.
oh, like a more in-depth interview, like a more personal interview of the decks?
Yeah, and to how to get, if you fall out of love with one of your decks, it's like a relationship. How do you bring
It
that
is.
love back again?
Oh, I'm excited for that. Please let me know when you actually put that out and you're working on that or what you come up with. Maybe you do a VR,
Okay.
right? I think that would be like a good way to do it is put down your questions and what you would do in specific decks. And I think a VR would be phenomenal for that.
I
Have you
think
done a
I
VR
love it.
before?
Yeah, and I think I would like to hear everyone else's. When you
Yeah.
fall in love with your deck, what do you do? Get that
And
romance.
Valentine's Day is about 5 months away. So it'll give people time to, not that you only need to do it on Valentine's Day, but I think it kind of leads up to Valentine's Day. That's exciting. I love that. And
Okay.
for me, it's hard because I have too many decks. Like even my husband's like, Celina, you have a deck for every day of the year. And,
Yeah.
and that's, I understand when he says, how do you get a chance to actually work with them individually? Like I can't.
It's like having too many children. How do you feed them all?
Exactly.
How
Like
do you
I
love them
will,
all?
like I will do the initial review unboxing and I'll work with it for a couple days and then I have a new deck that comes in. So that one gets on my shelf and then it sits there, until Bobby and Ramon say, hey, let's do readings. And then that's when these are this these are the decks I'm going to be using tonight.
Yeah. Oh my.
So these are the decks that I'll have for tonight.
But I do find that when you have a lot of decks, it is hard to find that
Yeah.
connection sometimes.
Yeah. So I think what you just said will help me tremendously on developing a closer relationship with. Now, I mean, I'm not going to say each deck, but
Yeah.
my favorite decks and how to bring them back in. Like there's specific decks that I use on a daily basis. Santa Muerte I use on a daily basis, but I have two different Santa Muerte decks. I have a colored version that was sent to me by Ramon that is specifically only my deck with Santa Muerte specifically, like that sits on her altar. But then I have my other Santa Muerte deck that I will pull when I'm doing readings for other people. Like
I
her deck
found
is only just me and her.
I found it fun this week when I finished the ritual I was working on for blessing my spirit boards and all the new stuff that I brought in. And I put Santa Morte in the middle, and I had charms in her eyeballs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
I found it neat because I pulled a card after, and I got the Three of Cups, and I thought, "Hey, we're all celebrating together."
Mm-hmm.
It was like you did it. I didn't know how I was going to bless the boards. I was looking on the internet, and I wasn't finding anything I wanted. So I just sort of threw it all together with my pendulum with Santa Morte, and for her to give me the Three of Cups, it was like, cheers.
Yeah. I know. I love when she gives me those messages as well. But yeah, I mean, I separate decks specifically for her only. And then other ones I work with, I do readings on other people or they'll travel with me and stuff like that. But um, every Monday I use hers, or when I really I feel I need to talk to her. I'll pull out that deck again and then I'll pull cards again.
Yeah, that's why I'm enjoying this one I inherited, this tarot
Hmm.
card, JJ Swift's,
Yeah.
because I thought it was my mother-in-law's deck. Turns out it was her mother's deck.
Wow.
And once I figured that out and I could call her by her proper name, Ruth and I are having a good time.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. Okay. And you don't have an online store or any way to support your work, right? Do you have like a Ko-fi shop or anything?
No, you and I have to talk about that. I don't know too
Okay.
much about having that.
Okay. I will definitely help you with that backstage. And our final question, is there a final word, mantra, or blessing you'd like to leave us with today?
Yeah, I did write one. Looking at it now, it might seem silly, but knowing that I like to play and I like everyone else to play, my mantra is don't be boring. It'll drive you mad.
Oh, that's a
Be
good one. I like
excited.
that.
Be
Yeah.
excited about what you're doing.
Yeah. Find
Get out
excitement
about,
even in the littlest project that you're doing. Make it exciting, not just, oh ho hum, I'm doing another one, but make some fun out of, like, I started doing that with my tarot decks, and especially like my recent reviews and unboxings, and I'll try to add like a personal story that goes along with whatever it is I'm reading. To me, I felt that I was actually connecting better with the decks when I did that, because stuff was coming to me and I wanted, instead of just doing the normal, this is your Empress card, your Emperor card, instead of doing that, I would talk about whatever, however that connected with me
I think you
and
have
make it
to.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing worse to me than seeing card after card after card. Tell me a story.
Yeah. And that's why I
Tell
was
me
like pulling out herbs. These are the herbs I found in Gettysburg. So let me pull out the stick I found and the nuts
yeah.
I found. And, you know, telling my husband, slow down, I need to get some goldenrod, you know, because it was
A
a
girl's
neurology
gotta have
deck.
goldenrod.
I know. I
So
was like, it was a neurology deck. So I needed to, talk about my herbs and how I connect with them and what they mean to me. So
yeah,
yeah,
that to me touches me more when I hear someone talk about the cards and bring their insights
yeah,
into it
yeah,
and
definitely. Oh, I
get me
love it.
excited about it.
Exactly. Exactly. And I feel like it changes the mood of the unboxing and the review. And it feels more sincere,
Hmm.
you know, but that's just my
Personal.
opinion. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Laurie. I have greatly appreciated, and I know this is probably nerve-wracking for you, your first time coming on live, but I greatly appreciate you graciously saying yes to me. And, you know, and this was like months ago. This wasn't like just recently. This was months ago, but you're trying to get your schedule and my schedule, and then I was busy with other stuff. And but I'm so happy you guys said yes and wanted to come on and talk with me and chat with me on a live.
You made it comfortable, but it's been a
Oh,
few
thank
hours of
you.
biting my nails, waiting for it to happen.
I know. And that's what, like, so Bill's on here, Bill from the 999 show. Yep.
Okay.
So he was the first one to ask me, hey, Celina, do you want to come and do a live with me? And he was the first one who bursted my bubble. And I was like, oh my God. I was like I was nerve. It was so probably really like you right now. He was gonna color and just talk to me. So he's coloring and I'm telling him what to color and how to color the cards, because he has like a coloring book full of all the tarot
Hmm.
cards in it. And he was like, it was the world card. It was the first one. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and I'm just gonna go ahead and color with you, Bill. But yeah, so was nerve-wracking. And then he asked me to come on again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't bomb the first time. He asked me to come on again. But Bill was my first person to say, hey, Celina, you want to come on? And then after that was by Bone Brush and Indigo Ash. She was the second one. She's like, hey, you want to do readings with me? And I'm like, oh my God, how do I do readings for people
Yeah.
online that I don't have right there in front of me and I can't actually feel their energy? So she was the next one. And then it was Bobby. And then, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But it
I
was like
probably
doing readings online was for me was like nerve-wracking.
very
Was
nerve
more
wracking.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. And I probably spent 3 or 4 days writing notes and answers out, and I'm like, how am I going to
You did.
remember
You
how?
told me that. You did.
And
Oh,
then we
look at
get on
that,
and it's just
Bill.
free for
Yeah.
all.
He says, I need to do tarot, coloring the tarot again. That was fun, Bill. I loved when you did coloring. Because you had Hershey was on there. Miss Tarot D was on. But I had all my friends in the chat, like Angie Roots and Waves. She's from Canada, but she's been taking a little break from YouTube. She's like, Celina, it'll be fine. I will be there. Just pretend you're talking to me and I'll be in the chat and we'll just be chatting back and forth.
But how do you follow the chat? I'm thinking about
Oh,
you
it's hard.
focusing on you.
It's hard. Yeah,
So I'm
it
sorry if I
really,
didn't say hi to anybody.
no, you're fine. It's very hard. Yeah, I know, Debbie. It's tough. It really is for people that don't do this. And now that I do it on a weekly basis, it's like, it's fine. Let's do another live.
Yeah, it's old hat to you.
Yeah, but
But
after that, I think once you, oh, see, Bridget also, she said she was very nervous. I remember her saying she was very nervous, but she was my first one on into the liminal here. So
I saw
she understands yeah, I do miss Angie as well. She's taken her break, but yeah, live readings is a whole different animal, but
well, it's sort of comfortable when you have a tarot deck in your hand, but when you don't.
it is because for my nervousness, I have severe anxiety. So my nervousness, I would just start shuffling and that kind of just helps calm me down. It's like clicking a pen, but for me, it's shuffling my cards helps with my anxiety. So
Well,
yeah.
hubby has a probably a small scotch ready for me when I get home.
Oh, good, good.
Just
Well,
want to
enjoy your small
chill.
scotch. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat. If you have not already subscribed to Laurie, to her channel, please do so. You will not be disappointed. I love her videos, and it's like for me, it's like a therapy session watching your videos.
Oh,
Because you're walking through your garden sometimes, you're talking about your herbs, and you have your beautiful gloves on, and the whole aesthetic of everything is so beautiful. So
well, it's a little
definitely
bit of crazy.
subscribe to her. Definitely
Sorry.
subscribe to subscribe to her channel, and then keep an eye out for the almost like making love to your decks, like
Yeah.
kind of rekindling with your decks. So I think that'll be very fun.
Well, thank you very much, Celina, and having patience and the wish to have me on. I loved it.
Most definitely. I'm thrilled to have you on, and this was definitely I felt like I'm just sitting in the living room there with you, just chatting. So it was a really nice, wonderful interview. And from what all the comments I was reading, everybody thought the same way. I mean, are subscribing. Yeah, you're right. It is very therapeutic to watch your channel. So, and just how you practice your magic, I think to me is amazing, or your tarot, or when you pull out your homemade tarot cards that you cut down and made into circles or anything like that. So, and then definitely reach out to, go to Miss Tarot D's channel, and then you'll be able to see how she makes all of her sprays, and as well as her black salt if you don't already make black salt.
I'd like to see how everyone else does it.
Yep, me too. Me too. Well, thank you everybody in our chat for coming in and saying hi and keeping this chat flowing and going and chatting with everybody. I appreciate you guys so very much for being here, because you could be anywhere else at this time and you decided to spend it with us. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for being here. I appreciate you guys. And Laurie, thank you so much.
Hugs.
I appreciate you so much. Big hug to you too. Really, really. This was great. And stick around to the end, and then we'll be back on stage together, and then we'll say goodbye behind stage after, like we did when we first got on.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Bye, everyone.
bye. Thank you so much. I'm going to remove us from the stage, and then I'm going to bring you back on after we end it. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.